Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an opportunity to be at the Friday prayer. It's a blessing that we should not take like many people aspire to come but couldn't come because of their health, because of the transportation or any other reason. So we indeed are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gave us the opportunity to be here. We are, I think, almost concluding the month of Rajab and entering into Sha'ban. We should remember to make the dua, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban, wa lana Ramadan. So our eyes should be focused towards Ramadan coming in a month or so. And indeed, it's a great month that will come to us, and we should start getting mentally prepared for it, and even physically too. So today we will continue with our Tafsir of Surah Ar-Rahman. Alhamdulillah, we've done 3 sessions so far on Surah Ar-Rahman, and we reached verse number 13. So today we'll start from verse number 14. Remember, Surah Ar-Rahman is focused on the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's bestowed upon us in this world, as well as what He has informed us about hereafter, Jannah.
خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار.
He created man from clay, like that of pottery. So al-insan here refers to Adam alayhi salam.
وخلق الجان من مارج من نار.
And He created the jinn from a smokeless flame of fire. So Jan refers to jinns. So Swatan mentions the creation of Adam alayhi salam, the father of the East, and jinn. And notice the use of the word clay. Right? So Swatan uses many different words in the Quran, but here we focus on using the word clay. And if you see here, there's also a mention of potter, or people who do pottery, make vases or other decoration items. So what does that mean? Allah not only made insan from clay, which is an element of earth, but also shaped insan perfectly. Right? So just like a potter would shape whatever he's building and then let it dry until it becomes solid, and then he decorates on top. So Allah shaped insan as well in a special form. Indeed, insan is the best of creation of Allah. And then He made jinns from a different material. He created them from fire. And this is mentioned in a narration narrated by Aisha and Muslim Nabi Sallallahu mentioned, خُلِقَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ مِنْ نُورٍ وَخُلِقَ الْجَانُّ مِنْ مَارِجٍ مِنْ نَارٍ خُلِقَ آدَمُ مِمَّا وُصِفَ لَكُمْ. The angels were born out of light, and the jinns were born out of the spark of the fire, and Adam was born as he has been defined for you, meaning he was fashioned out of clay. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So what favors of the Lord would you deny? So after mentioning the creation of the insan and the jinn, Allah refers to now some other wonders that we see those in this world. So again, we did not see when Adam was created, we did not see when jinns were created, but now Allah mentions some of these wonders that we see with our own eyes in this world. He's the Lord of the 2 easts and Lord of the 2 wests. So Swanta mentions 2 wests and 2 easts. But in our common conversation, we only talk about the east and the west. East where the sun rises, west where the sun sets. So what does that mean? We have 2 easts and 2 wests. So scholars explain because in summertime, the sun rises from a slightly different location at winter times. And same thing when it sets in a different place. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning there. The 2 places that the sun would rise in the summer and the winter, and similarly where it would set in a different season. But in another place, we see in Surah Al-Ma'arij, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِرَبِّ الْمَشَارِقِ وَالْمَغَارِبِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, so I swear by the Lord of the east and the west. So there it is even mentioned in plurals, not only 2, but many easts and many wests. So how do you now reconcile? So think about this. Quran is always about reflection. When you see something mentioned in one place and then something different but related, you have to think about how they are connected. How do you reconcile? So one place Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 2 east, 2 west. Another place also many east and many west. What does that mean? So there is no contradiction in Quran. Scholars have spent a lot of time thinking about how to understand this word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there, east and west just means every single day there's a slightly different point of where the sun rises and sun sets. So there are infinite number of places where the sun will rise and sun will set throughout the year. That's the way to understand the many east and the many west. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes to another example, which is a very interesting example, something that would be counterintuitive to us. So let's delve into it. مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ يَلْتَقِيَانِ. He released the 2 seas meeting side by side. بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. Between them is a barrier, so neither of them transgresses. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 2 seas, 2 types of water that do not mix. That He has created 2 types of water that do not mix, and there's a barrier between them. So just do a simple experiment at home. I mean, take 2 cups of water, pour one into the other, what will happen? You end up with a single solution. But here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 2 seas are coming together and the water is not mixing. That is amazing. That is something that people at the time of Nabi Sallallahu did not know. And we know today. We know today that there are many sites that exist, and one of them in particular exists between the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea. So there's a place where the Atlantic Ocean merges into Mediterranean Sea, and Atlantic Ocean is more salty than Mediterranean Sea, so the density is different. When they come together, they actually do not merge. You can clearly see that there's a dividing line between them, and the water is not mixing. SubhanAllah, think about this. These wonders are mentioned, these facts are mentioned in Quran that no human knew back then. So, it tells us about how divine this kalam is, this book is. And that place, if you want to look up, is called the Strait of Gibraltar. That's the location, you can look it up. It's between Spain and Morocco. Okay, that's where 2 seas meet. And it's mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahman also. وَهُوَ الَّذِي مَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ هَذَا عَذْبٌ فُرَاتٌ وَهَذَا مِلْحٌ أُجَاجٌ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخًا وَحِجْرًا مَحْجُورًا. And it is He who has released simultaneously 2 seas, one fresh and sweet and one salty and bitter, and He has set a barrier and a complete partition between them. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? So now that we talked about oceans and seas, let's continue on. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps mentioning examples upon examples for us to reflect. Now He talks about what benefits you get out of the seas or the oceans. يَخْرُجُ مِنْهُمَا اللُّؤْلُؤُ وَالْمَرْجَانُ. From both of them emerge pearl and coral. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? وَلَهُ الْجَوَارِ الْمُنْشَآتُ فِي الْبَحْرِ كَالْأَعْلَامِ. And to Him belong the ships with sails elevated in the sea like mountains. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors of the Lord would you deny? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions corals, pearls, all these expensive ornaments that you get from the depth of the sea. And there's many more things. Crude oil, as an example, you extract from the sea. Amber, which is a special type of perfume, very expensive, comes from a sperm whale from the sea. So there are many different benefits that we take from the sea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for us. And the next one, the next ayah that I recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions one more wonder. Quran is full of wonders, you just need to reflect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions how He has made the ships sail on the surface of the oceans. Like mountains. So think about, today you see cruise ships, huge in size. They're floating over And do this experiment at home. I think you will know it already. Take a coin and put it in any cup of water. It will sink. Take something even lighter, needle, it will sink. Yes, you can rest it lightly, but as soon as you try to move it, it will sink. But the entire ship, huge size of a metal object, floats. How is this possible? This is the divine wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the intelligence that He gave to insan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Nuh alayhi salam years ago. It's mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Surah Hud. وَاصْنَعِ الْفُلْكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا وَوَحْيِنَا. And build the ark under our eyes, under our observation, under our direction. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gave this knowledge to insan to build a ship and float, and yet a small needle or a coin would sink. So which favors of your Lord would you have? So inshallah we'll continue next time from here, and we'll talk about more favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. But the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making all of these verses, about 33 times, which favors would you deny? That's the point of reflection. You should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessings and bounties that we see around us and we see within us. And let's remind ourselves of what is recommended to say, as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned, لا بشيء من نعمك ربنا نكذب فلك الحمد. That when jinns heard this verse, they recited this dua. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded Sahaba around to recite the same. Which means, oh Lord, we do not deny any of your favors, and all praise is to you. سبحانك وبحمدك نشهد لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك